Well, traders, so I decided to do the videos on the market planning on a regular basis right now. There will be a different playlist for that, and you can follow that playlist. And I will be doing this every Sunday to Thursday night, and you will have the plan that is there for the next day at this point, and then we will revisit the plan at 8:45 in the morning on the Google Meet. If you want the Google Meet link, it is there in the description below. So let us start with the monthly chart, right? So what do we see on the monthly chart? On the monthly chart, this was the last breakout that happened. Correct. So this was the level of the last breakout. And if we see here, this is the last bull gap that we have. Now, as long as we do not cross over, so as long as we do not break this body gap that we have on the monthly chart, there is nothing bearish about the monthly chart, right? So this is where we ended last month. This was the end of May, and we started above the close of May in the month of June, and we are up here. So once we are closing on a daily or on a weekly chart above these levels, this is the previous low, the previous, and as soon as we cross above this previous high and start closing on a daily time frame, we may actually look for a bounce of this height. Okay, and the target can be, if it's a 1:1 with including the wicks and everything, the target can be in the 56.96 area. Or if you do not consider the wicks and you are very conservative about it, even then it is telling us that if we go above the 66% line, 5559 is a very good target on the monthly chart, right? However, on the monthly chart, I would like to draw your attention to this wedge line that got created. We have the first touch here, or if you do not consider this the first touch, this is the first touch, this is the second touch. We are awaiting the third touch. If it happens here, and then we decide to come down for a couple of legs, then 5564 to 5570 is the area that we will be looking at. So at this point of time, this is the current structure of the monthly chart. We have this body gap here that needs to be broken down first before we start thinking about a bearish movement on the monthly chart and maybe a drop down towards the monthly chart's EMA. But for now, this line, this 556867 area, this looks like a very good target on the monthly chart as we go through. Now again, there are lots of news items that are coming in. We have FOMC, and then we have CPI data, we have PPI data. All those things are going to come out very soon. So based on that, we will have to see how the price moves and how the price behaves on the lower time frames to see where the price is actually moving. So let us now boil down to see what is there on the weekly chart. So on the weekly chart, what we see is we have a good bullish gap here, right? And this is our breakout line on the weekly chart. If I put it properly here, this is the exact breakout line. And let me now extend the line to the right. So 5334.5 is the breakout line that we have on the weekly chart. So based on that, it may be a good idea to have a bullish bias going into this week as well, as long as at least this area is not taken out. And if you see, this is right near our generic resistance of 5333, right? So now we need to see if the price comes down here and holds the 5333 area, or even goes down to 5325, it goes down to 5313, and then comes back again above 5333. That will be an indication that that was a false breakout below this breakout line. Sorry, that will be an indication that this is a false breakdown below the 533 line, and the price may actually want to reach the extreme once again, which is here, right? So that is what I'm looking for. And even if this is the spike, the weekly channel is also telling me that we are in a bull move right now. So you need to now keep an eye on how this channel is behaving, whether we are going above the 50% of this line or not, which is around the high of last week, which is the 5385 area. So and if we keep going up, there is a big chance that we are going to hit this top again. Based on the weekly chart, keep an eye on the 5333 line, keep an eye on the middle line of this channel, keep an eye on the bottom line of this channel. If CPI, FOMC, PPI, everything favors the price, we can very much possibly go up to this 5490 5490 line to reach the target on the top of the channel. Now, on the weekly chart, this area may still act as a wedge top, right? We have the first touch, we have the second touch, and now we may have the third touch. If we break above this and keep holding this line, that will be a very good indication. So I'm talking about the lower time frame, right? So if we go above this line and keep holding this trend line, there's a very good chance of reaching the targets on the top. Even if you see here, if this is the first leg that got created and we are going for a second leg, and if I am still very conservative and I pull my fibs out and mark this before the pullback happened, again 5640 looks to be the target, right? And which is in sync with the monthly idea that we had. So we may actually in reality go up and see these areas if the FOMC, CPI, PPI, all this news is supported, and the interest rate does not actually go up and it stays the same. The market may actually bounce to these levels over the next 1 month or so. The daily chart now is showing me something interesting, right? So this was the previous high, and we have not been able to close above the previous high at all. Although we did make a new high here last week, but we are still unable to close above the previous high. Now we have this nice bull gap here at this point, right, which is getting retested. But to be on the safe side, if you're looking at the daily chart, you should be very careful in this area because this is a mother bar, right? So we can revisit the bottom of this mother bar and even come down to the daily time frame on the 20 EMA. However, for tomorrow, keep an eye on this bar, keep an eye on the fibs of this bar, and then you should be careful around the 67 area, you should be careful around the 79 area, and then the top of the high of this Friday's bar, right? And on the bottom side, you again keep an eye on the 5333, 5325, 5313, and 5300 areas. I'm actually saying that we may come and test this, maybe not tomorrow, but if tomorrow is an inside bar which is bearish, we may very well come and test this area in the subsequent days of the week. So right now, let us start delving into the lower time frames. So if you see that this is kind of a mother bar, it is not a mother bar because this bar is not inside this, but I will still be interested in this whole fib, right? In this whole trading range. Since this bar in a trading range and we have not broken out on either side, we still continue to be in the trading range here. So based on that, if you see, this was the midpoint of the whole range, which is 5357.50, and we are getting rejected from there here. This is the lower 33%, this is the buy area, this is the upper 33%, this is the sell area. So that is how we will have to deal with this complete range on the 4-hour chart. Please bring in your 11%, 21%, 79%, 89% areas on this chart as well on the fibs, so that you are clearly aware that how we are playing in this range. And if it is breaking out, if this range breaks out, then we may actually see price come down to 5273. So that's a very deep target. I do not think that is going to happen really soon, but you never know, right? So it is always good to be ready with your targets. And on the upside, if we now take this fib and project it to the upside of this range, we will see 5443 is where the price is targeting, right? But however, before FOMC, again, I'm saying I think we will keep on staying in this range. Even if we break down, we should not be going below this area, which is 5321. It may come down a little bit more to the 5321, but then it will soon get back into the 2930 area, and we'll again see 5756 come up on the price. However, if you also see, this can be a wedge top on the 4 hours, which has already happened, and it may want to do a couple of legs down. Here you have the ETH 4-hour EMA right at 5348. So if we break this down and keep coming down, maybe these lows can be tested again. Now, if you see the previous day on Friday, we came down below this EMA, recovered it back immediately and went back up to the top. So we do not know whether bulls are still present below the EMA first time it happened, maybe the second time it will also happen. But if we see that the EMA is breaking down for the third time, that may actually have a deeper pullback into these areas. And if you see on the 4-hour chart, this is one balance zone that we have. This is one balance zone that we have that was broken out by this bar. And then if we come down again, this will be our next balance zone that will be there. So if we break down these lows, if we come down below the low of this bar, maybe there's 5300 where our daily EMA is sitting, maybe we can come and test that area, right? However, also keep an active eye. If we are coming down, keep an active eye on this line, which is 5313. Correct. So this is again our generic support and resistance areas, and it will act as a generic support and resistance areas, and there may be bulls present here again. Considering that this is the breakout, this is the follow through, we came down, retested, created a breakout gap here, and we went back up again. So on the 4-hour chart, this is the breakout gap that we have now. And this is between 5320 to 5315. This again may act as the support, or 13 will act as the support on the 4-hour chart. One more important area that you need to keep an eye on the 4-hour chart is this channel that we could not break on Friday, and we bounced right there. We can come back to the channel, and that will actually be the 5340 area again where it may bounce. So if it does not bounce from there and you keep coming down, then we will have to look for levels below it. But again, if there's a high probability that will bounce from this channel and try to hit the top again here. Okay, now we are breaking it down further. This is the hourly chart. Let's see if we get any wedge formations here. And yes, we do. So we have a perfect wedge here. After the perfect wedge happened, we had one leg down, we had a pullback, and now there is actually a very good chance of getting another leg down. And if we are trying to measure it, how much it can go down in the overnight session, we can actually come and touch the 5317 to 5313 area. So if the price wants to come down, it will come down back to this balance zone that we created and we broke out of it. And again, if you see, this is the 5313 area. So that is one important area that we'll have to see if we are there in the morning. If the London session is able to bring it back here, there is a big chance that we will start bouncing from here again. And if we see, this is the hourly mother bar that we have. Finally, we found a good mother bar which is existing. And if we let me remove these fibs first. If we draw our fibs on top of this and we say this is the total mother bar, again you see that we are at the 5355 level. So 5352 to 5357 is the whole zone that has been holding price. And if we come and try to do another leg down, we can come down here. One more thing that you will notice is that there is a bearish body gap on the hourly chart right now. However, we do not have any bullish body gaps, and the bearish body gap on the hourly chart actually is this one. So again, another possibility is that we go up from here. We hit this in two legs, we create two legs up, and from here we start coming down and hit this area. So let's now look at the final piece of the puzzle, which happens to be the 5-minute RTA chart. You see that we have a very good support in this area, which is the 50 to 52 area. The next zone below that, the balance zone, is again in the 5344 to the 5340 area, as we said. Below that, you have support at 5330 to 5324. This is again the sideways area that was created, and this is in sync with our 5329 that we saw with the 1-hour chart. And below that, we have the 5312 or the 5313 line, and it extends from 5312 to 5308. And after that, we have 5305 to 5299. Once we break down that, and especially the 94 to 96 area, there's a big chance that we come to these levels at 5291, 5287, 5284. These are the next areas. 5284 is again a generic support, and if 5284 breaks down, then we will look at the 5274 to 69 area. Again, 5273 will be a very important line, and once it breaks this down, we come to 5240. and after 5240 it can be a very crazy drop. On the upside, this is the balance zone that we may try to reach in the morning. Even if we come down here during 9:30, if the price is around this level or this level, and we keep going up and we create another squeeze like this, it is very highly possible that we come and hit these levels. Once we cross this balance area, then we will come back to this balance area, maybe to the high of this line, or even maybe we will not be crossing above the 5374 or the 5373 line, which was the neckline of this head and shoulder structure that we had on Friday. So based on the 5-minute structure, if I talk about the ETH session, I will be expecting a move like this, create an inverted head and shoulder structure, and during the RTH hours, we go and hit these areas again. However, since we ended the day bearish on Friday, this is the last bear gap that we had. So be careful at this area, which is between 62 and 61. However, on the bottom side, also keep an eye on this kind of a wedge getting formed, and if you see if it starts coming down, this can be a very good target for the price to come down and get, which is again the bottom of the mother bar that we saw. One more possible wedge can be here, so keep this line also in mind. So we will have to see if the price comes and goes from here. However, if the price is opening somewhere here around 9:30, I will look for short opportunities, because this will be a big gap up of around 20 points, and it will start to come down at least till the 5362 to 5360 area, which will be a 10-point drop for the bears, and they can pick it up again from here, considering this will act as a support area at that point of time. Right, so these are the two possibilities. One is this: if we are starting from here, we can come down here, do a little bit of bounce, we will come down here, do a little bit of bounce, and then either we keep going up from here, or we come one more leg down to create a wedge bottom to this area. So these are the different plans that we have right now. We will have to take a look at how the market shapes up over the overnight session, what the London session does, where we are opening, and based on that, we will have our further discussion at 8:45 a.m. in the morning. See you there. Have a great night, everyone. Bye.